Cool. Next one is I had an interesting debate come up with my current partner as we look to plan deal breakers in the relationship. So I was curious as to what you three think. Where do you draw the line in separating artists and their art? For perspective, my partner is very much against letting our children listen to or consume any medium, whether that's music, movies, or books, from artists who are horrid people who have done horrid things. So Michael Jackson and his issues with what he did with children, Dr. Seuss and racism, or Lost Prophet, who is one of my favorite bands of all time, and their lead singer Ian Watkins. For me, I don't want to draw an arbitrary line of people doing shit things and boycotting their amazing art. What are your thoughts?
There's nothing left. There's nothing left. First off, the knowledge that we have about Dr. Seuss, well, I mean, there's a whole thing to unpack here, which is like, did you realize that everyone prior to, 1800 was totally racist? So you're not allowed to do anything back. Like, if you're going to hold them to 2021 standards of morality without recognizing that morality has evolved and that they might have been an exemplary model for their particular society, but might fall completely short in ours, you're not able to access any of the classics, any of them. There's nothing that would. They had slaves in ancient Greece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can. I think you've gone farther. It's even more.
You can't
recent.
read Aristotle. You can't read.
Yes.
You can't read Plato. You can't read it's just you've got nothing. So I think that when I heard there was just one that was Dr. Seuss, I was like, okay, if you're going to start going back 70 years and demanding that people are not racist, you can't. There's nothing that's beyond 120, 200 years that you're going to have. That you're going to find checks the boxes. Mm-hmm. And I mean that you're going to go to, oh no, Confucius, like how did Confucius feel about the Japanese or about the Vietnamese or about I guarantee that there's serious problems in all these people. Gandhi was not a good husband. So I actually think that if that is your partner's stance, that she probably would benefit from turning that critical eye inward. Like that willingness to look at history and the world as being so bad, I actually think is a projection in many cases. And not to say that she's an awful person or is racist herself, but that she is uncomfortable with her own inner badness and therefore is especially sensitive to it in the world, in art, in those sorts of things. Again, not to say that she's racist, but that there's elements of her which she finds bad, wrong, morally unacceptable. That
also definitely does. I mean, I don't know what the story is with Dr. Seuss, but definitely like has an iPhone that came from a cobalt mine, or a blood diamond,
It's like,
or eats meat from a factory farm.
It's crazy. So like, at that level of that moral standard, I feel like it would probably take 3 minutes to find a way in which she herself is not going to live up to the moral standard 60 years from now, and therefore all of her work ought to be thrown out and not.
She can't parent her own kid.
It's just not right or fair. So secondarily, okay, then let's take things that are closer to modern day, more serious infractions. The person knew at the time that this doesn't jive with.
Yeah, assuming Michael Jackson was a
Michael
pedophile.
Jackson. Let's assume that everything in Finding Neverland is true. Again, not that this should give me more clout. We talked about it today. I was molested. I fucking love Michael Jackson.
Oh, really?
I love his music. It's fucking amazing, man.
It's he's okay.
The Free Willy song is so good.
This is like my unpopular opinion.
Is so good.
That
you're right. I like some Michael Jackson songs, but
no, this is just the thing that gets me booed off stage.
Yeah.
And I just don't. Even if he didn't do anything, I just don't like his music.
Let me play
maybe Thriller.
The Free Willy song is so touching. But. So yeah, that's me, and that's not an argument for it. But I'm just saying, as someone in the aggrieved category,
I also would say it just depends on. To your point, if it's like the rule is they have to be an exemplar of ethics, and therefore we're not going to teach our kid the Socratic Method. It's one thing, but if they're like, hey, listen, Michael Jackson molested my cousin, so no Michael Jackson.
No Michael Jackson. Like, yeah, fine,
whatever.
Yeah,
fine. Pablo Picasso murdered my great grandma, so no Pablo Picasso paintings. Fine. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a difference between there's just one person I have a real big issue with versus I'm going to do this thing that excludes
uneven.
all.
It's also
people.
like, I bet you Dr. Seuss, and the other thing is you're just at the vicissitudes of the news, because Dr. Seuss was probably totally cool up until 6 months ago, at which point, now we have to throw him out.
Well, the bigger question is what author are you trusting hasn't done anything bad?
Tolkien. I mean, like, the orcs are black people, you know what I mean? Like, and they've got Cockney accents in the Lord of the Rings. It's a class story, and all of the fucking elves speak in RP. So this is a story about horrible poor people. There's going to be nothing left if that is the lens that you view the whole world through. And worse, you won't live up to it yourself, and you'll blind yourself from your own moral failings, which is really the place where the most good can be done in the world is by turning that critical moral standard inward and finding the flaws and addressing them either by working them out, coming to accept them, and seeing the flaws in humanity. Like that's the real value that your kids would benefit from seeing, not oh no, there's these untouchables throughout history, which is just like they're all untouchable if we play this game.
But if their only rule is no Bill Cosby in the house, just don't watch Bill Cosby.
Totally fine. And it's like, look, this one hits too close to home for these reasons. Like, okay, fine.
No Cosby Show. It's fine. Yeah, it just depends on if this is a one thing that she has a particular issue with, or if this is a global.
But then philosophically, there's a question of like, what are we throwing out when we throw out the art, and what are we throwing out when we condemn the person? Is like my impression that the problem with Michael Jackson is not his harmonies. It's not his, and it's not, there's the child molesting was an integral part of the production of Thriller. That that's
well,
not
some people just don't want to fund. Some people just go, I don't want to fund this person.
I think he's dead. I don't think you're contributing in any significant way.
Yeah.
And if you're concerned about what you're funding, like, look to your clothing, look to your food.
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Are you wearing a blood diamond on your ring? Do you have a cobalt
Yeah.
piece in your phone? Where are your clothes from? You wear a Nike?
So given that there's probably all of these contradictions in the stringentness of this application, I think that it probably philosophically, if it's applied to your favorite band, Lost Prophets, all of a problem. It's like, take off your diamonds, stop eating the meat. Like, sorry, you can't have that outfit. That comes from exploitation in China. I don't think that your partner would appreciate that. Just like I don't think it's very fair for her to say, oh, your favorite band is, I don't even know what Lost Prophet
unless she is the absolute,
unless she was the victim herself of Lost Prophet or
is just wearing hemp clothes she made herself, doesn't have a cell phone. Maybe this is the one person I know
who you can't talk to,
farms her own vegetation, and you just go, God bless, you're the only person that can make art for your kid. It's
Greta Thunberg, man, sailing across the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she's
So
if that's the case, then you have a unicorn on your hands.
Yeah. And
I bet against.
You're in trouble for the arguments because
she's got
the high ground. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.